Hello, Chosen Undead. So very quickly here, what you've got is a time sped up video of the item run. So as this is an addendum to the item run video. When I was researching things for the item run, I learned about what that Black Knight in Darkroot could drop, which is the Black Knight Halberd. And if you get lucky and get that weapon, it is the kind of weapon that might carry you through basically the entirety of a new game. Since the next video is going to be Darkroot anyway, I thought I'd run down there and try and grab them. So this is just that video. I run down to get the knight. Additionally, I've popped a soul packet and picked up the spell burst, I think is what it is. And it's this sort of area of effect, kind of outward thrust force, maybe. I think it's force. And I thought that I might be able to knock the Silver Knight or Black Knight off the ledge. Doesn't work that way. And then, so ostensibly speaking, a lot of the guides that I've seen with reference to this particular guy indicate that if you stand with your back to the cliff, which is what I'm trying to do, you, so the force didn't work. You can kind of bait him into exposing himself for a backstab, and then the backstab animation actually sends him flying forward from wherever it is the location is that you backstab him. And the idea is that you can backstab him such that he falls off the edge, even as a brand new level 1 character with no items. You know, a level 1 sorcerer with a crappy dagger can do this. And if you get lucky and it drops the Black Knight Halberd, you're basically set, for all of new game. Once you get to the point where you can wield it. So the Black Knight Halberd is a roughly 20% drop off this choice, which is a number that you can positively modify by being human and having humanity on your person. And I don't know the exact correlation in terms of percentages, but it makes it more likely. If you don't get it, there are ways you can grind Black Knights towards the very end of the game, but in terms of new game, this is pretty much it. So I thought I had it right there in terms of a nice backstab. It didn't work out. So I get to the point where I'm just kind of like, all right, well, let's just fight this guy the normal way. We're at a point now where our gear is to the point where we can handle a Black Knight. So yeah, I just fight him the normal way. And they go down. It just takes a hot minute, and I get lucky and I get the Black Knight shield, which is not the weapon I was shooting for, but it's still a great drop. Black Knight shield is one of the highest stability shields in the game, and since the next episode or whatever is taking place in Darkroot Garden anyway, in lieu of going back the long way, I figured, well, why don't we go ahead and just run up the path, the same path that we did during the item run. So we're going to come around here, and there's the little tree, or so this is where the Titanite bug would be, and then we're going to keep on going. Titanite lizard, I've learned this is their appropriate name. We're going to keep on going, and then there's the tree monster. Keep on going to the left here, Darker Garden. And I decided, why don't we go ahead and fight this guy too? We take him out, and we're going to end up back in the castle, past the Titanite demon. We're going to go say hi to Andre, and then end up back at the bonfire. And once I get done with this part of the video, we're going to jump back into the playthrough and the Let's Play with Darkroot Garden. So, looking forward to seeing you guys in a second. Thanks. Bye. Hello, Chosen Undead. Welcome back to the Dark Souls playthrough. You just saw the item run where we got this gorgeous thing, which is the Black Knight shield. We were shooting for the halberd, but I'm not going to complain. And ultimately, we are going to work on getting the stats to the point where we can wield the Black Knight sword as well. So in the interim, I blew 2 soul packets and picked up the spell Force, which is a very nifty outward explosion, which you saw, we tried to knock that Black Knight off of the bridge or not bridge, but ridge line in Darkroot Basin. Did not work out. And so now we are going to go into Darkroot Forest. Before we do, we are going to go talk to our bro Sigmire. This is an optional portion of Sigmire's quest, and we are walking up to Sen's Fortress, which is the big kind of gate to the medium and later part of the game. And this guy is a cool dude. He just sort of lost in thought at the moment.
Forgive me. I was absorbed in thought.
So
I am Siegmeyer of Katarina, or a gate, I should say. No matter how long so here I weighing my options.
just exhaust his dialogue. Make sure that you chat with him. You don't need to. He's got a pretty involved quest line. But you talk to him now, and you should be all right. So we're going to continue on back to the blacksmith, and I think we have the resources to level up our Astora Straightsword a bit. I don't know how much I actually want to. The damage doesn't feel like it's really holding back too much. And Twinkling Titanite, while not mega hard to come by, it is utilized to upgrade the Black Knight Sword and the Black Knight Shield. Any of the Black Knight gear, really.
You seem to need anything.
So that's some of the thought process that goes into me wanting to use a Claymore for the time being, is that upgrades with Titanites versus the Astoras requiring Twinkling. And we're going to eventually be doing a Black Knight build anyway. So, yeah.
Well, I've used need.
Just for funsies. All right. The Claymore still probably won't outdamage the Astoras, but it'll be a much more close run thing. So we're just shy of 200 or just over 200. Yeah, it's not going to outdamage it. Now, one thing to note here is that the Astora Straightsword's raw numbers might be larger, 80, 80, and then the plus 19, plus 7. However, it's two different damage sources. And notice that on the armor pieces, they have both physical defense and magic defense, which means that the Astora Straightsword has to do whatever damage it does by penetrating both, whereas the Claymore, or later the Black Knight Greatsword, Black Knight Sword, only has to go through one defense. Let's make sure I'm not... Yep. Okay, well, we'll work on Vitality later on. All right, so heading into Darkroot Garden, there is this guy. He is not that hard to take down, but we're not going to worry about him right now. He's a Titanite demon. They become, right now he's sort of an area boss. Later on, they become kind of just a general enemy. When you kill him, he'll drop a big demon Titanite. He has this long polearm attack as well as the tail. And then he shoots lightning. Now, his tracking is generally very poor. So especially sorcery characters, or if I had the lightning spear, I'd be able to deal with a significant damage to him from range before we dealt with it. So we're going to move into Darkroot Forest, and these guys are a pain in the butt. But they also go down pretty quick. They have a very high drop chance of, I think, green and purple moss. I forget the exact. I want to say it's green and purple. And the moss clumps, you'll utilize those when you later on go to Undeadburg, as they increase your poison resistance. I think green does the same thing for curse. I'll look it up. And then you'll notice this guy right here. So here's one of them coming. There's one more in the ground. You see this to the right, just north of the rock. He'll pop up in a second, I'm sure. There he goes. They have very long attack animations. Yeah, purple moss clump. One of the nice things about the Claymore, just in case if you're trying to farm for boss weapons, it has a great kind of moveset. Especially the light attacks two-handed are very up and down, and that's excellent for slashing at the tail specifically of bosses. versus their jab, which is a fantastic for hallways move. Their one-handed slash is good for clearing off a lot of enemies. It does maybe a 270-degree arc. And then I think that's a 360 or damn near to it swing. So you've got a tool in the Claymore's moveset for damn near every situation. We're going to continue along this path here. Grab that soul packet behind the rock. And we're going to roll through this wall where you see these kind of markers. Other players are telling us that we should do something here. So we're going to roll through, and oh, look, a bonfire. We're not going to summon any players at this point, but we are going to summon an NPC to get to the next area. Now, we can't open this without the soul of Artorias or the key of Artorias or something, and that costs 20,000 souls. You buy it from Andre of Astora. It is a very useful tool, or key to get to the next section, but 20 grand is a little hard to come by at the moment, so we'll come back later. Hug the left wall, and there's a trap up ahead. In that room, you'll see the soul item there. That's a small soul packet. There's also 3 of those tree dudes, tree demon guys in there, so we're not going to fall for that bait, because once I trigger that trap once, those trees pop up every time I run past here. I just don't want to mess with it. Neither do you. It's not worth going in there. It's like a 400 soul packet thing. So this is the heart of Darkroot Garden. And the first thing we're going to do is get you some poise. So chop down this tree. It's not a thing you can target, but you can kill it. And come on down here. And the first enemy we're going to come across is this sort of floppy red frog thing. Their big shtick is that they have this kind of tongue attack, which if a couple of them together can sort of stun lock you. So just don't let them get it off the ground. Just stop them before it even happens. And then continue on down. So down here is going to be 2 things that we particularly care about and a bunch of stuff that we don't really care about. There's souls, which is nice. In the monsters, you can actually just walk around this. You don't have to kill it if you don't want to. By all means do so. But it's not hostile, as far as I can tell. And it's not blocking your movement. There you go. Hug this left wall, because there's an enemy here that is a pain to deal with, and a bunch of enemies that will join you in the valley here that can be difficult as well. So we're going to go ahead and get the force spell. Let's see if I can't blow one off the side. Yeah, that was pretty cool. All right. So again, there's 5 or 6 of these little frog dudes. They are a real pain in number, especially if they get that attack off. It's got crazy reach on their tongue. But they don't have a lot of hit points, and they don't have a lot of armor. So you can just battle your way through it. And I think we only knocked one off, which is fine. We're over here because of that soul packet. So take care of the last one. Grab the soul packet. And then there's an enemy down here who is somewhat intimidating, but is actually not that hard to deal with. So the Stone Knight, as soon as you can target it, wail on it. Give him a little bit of reach, and then he has this curse sort of effect that you can't roll, and that's kind of the frustrating thing about it. So you just kind of gotta suck it up, and then give him some real birth. Oh my goodness. This guy is trivial if you have sorceries. The sorceries make this particular enemy like a non-issue. But just like any other big enemy that's kind of slow in this game, if your roll timings are on point, they're not that bad. If you're... I mean, I imagine they're parryable. I would not begin to think about trying to parry them. You think about if you screwed up a parry on a Black Knight, like it hurts, but it's not that big a deal. I imagine with these guys, if you miss the parry, it's like, okay, well, roll a new character. But they're not that bad. They're slow, they're predictable, they do hit like a damn ton of bricks, but they're not all that bad. So heal up, and we're going to go into this tunnel here. And I'm actually, because I want to... Yeah, we want to be light rolling. So walk around naked. We're going to run just another one of these in the tunnel here. You can certainly take him out, but just run past him. You don't need to fight him if you're not inclined. If you want the souls, by all means, go for it, I suppose. He's not so bad. But we're really here for this. And then just run and jump off. All right, cool. So he won't be able to follow you. And now we picked up the next kind of nifty item in our toolkit. This is the Wolf Ring. The Wolf Ring grants you a certain amount of poise. I forget the exact number, but I want to say it's 50, which is a pretty healthy amount. And poise, we talked about that in the first video. I'll bring it up again. It is what you use to kind of power through an enemy's attack. All right, so rest at the fire if you want. We don't need a kindle. It's fine. Hug the left wall coming through here again. And now we're going to go take care of the zone's boss. There's not a whole lot to Dark Root Garden, Forest, whatever. I forget the exact name. Come along here. You're going to see the plant dude. You can actually attack these in the ground. But then you'll need to wait until you can target it again to damage it again. They go down real quick. This guy's trying to ambush you. He's trying something cute. So hit this little snake, bro. Tired of your shit, buddy. And get the partisan. It's a decent spear weapon. I haven't really ever been terribly impressed with the spear move sets, so I don't really worry about them too much. Continue hugging the left wall. Another one of these snake guys. Not necessary to take it down, but again, why not? It's such a low transaction cost to do so. And then there's another one of these stone statue guys. Just run past it, dodge into this bush, be human while you're doing this, and summon Witch Beatrice. And then she'll kind of help you out with this guy. So keep on kind of dancing up the stairs until she comes in, and then he'll get distracted. And if she can get line of sight on him, she'll really kind of ruin his day. There it is, yeah. Beatrice just kind of handles this guy for you, and she also just handles the next boss for you. So before going into the boss room, Moonlight Butterfly does exclusively magic damage. So as awesome as the Black Knight shield is, it's not going to do us much good against Beatrice, or against the Butterfly. You know what's going to be the best shield for that is the Caduceus. There are a bunch of other shields that have good magic defense. This is the one that we can easily pick up. And the big thing here is just really keep mobile. There's a portion of the fight where you can't touch the Butterfly, and she's going to just throw a lot of spells at you, so keep your shield up and just work on your roll timings. And if you need to, there's plenty of time in between attack rounds to heal up. And then the Beatrice will just do... I mean, she just does most of the work for you here. At some juncture, she will damage the Butterfly enough, the Butterfly will come down and you can melee it, but even that might not happen. I've never seen her do that. That's pretty cool. Alright, so now the Butterfly's coming in, and we offer our contributions to that particular engagement. Hey, just really quick. So after killing Moonlight Butterfly, you're going to find Soul of the Moonlight Butterfly in your inventory. The Soul of the Moonlight Butterfly can be consumed for 1,200 souls, or it can be given to the NPC Framped for 8,000 souls. It can also be used to ascend an existing item, which is a plus 10 item of the appropriate type, into either the Moonlight Butterfly Horn or the Crystal Ring Shield. So the Moonlight Butterfly Horn comes from a spear or rapier class weapon and turns it into the Moonlight Butterfly Horn, which is a spear or rapier. I believe it's a spear. Yeah, it's a spear, which does exclusively magic damage, and it scales with intelligence. So for you sorcerers, this is a weapon that is 100% something you want to be taking a look at. And you do this at the Giant Blacksmith in Anor Londo, so after Sen's Fortress. Alternatively, you can take a look at the Crystal Ring Shield, which is you take a plus 10 shield at the Giant Blacksmith, also in Anor Londo, and you turn it into this. So the shield itself is generally pretty uninspiring, except for the fact that it has the highest magic resistance of any shield in the game. So just keep that in mind. I do not recommend that you consume the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly. 1,200 is a pretty small number of souls. If you are sure that you are not going down the sorcery path and have no use for an intelligent scaling weapon, which I understand there are plenty of strength and dex builds out there, even then it is preferential to hold on to it until you meet Framped. All right, that's all. Thanks. All right, thanks, Beatrice. I appreciate your aid. You get a boss soul, get a bunch of souls, a humanity, which is nice. And then we're going to come up here, and this is important. Don't forget this. We're going to come up to the top here. We're going to pick up, I think, a humanity, a homeward bone, and a divine ember. So for the faith playing characters, myself included, this is important to make a divine weapon. Divine weapons do extra damage against the undead and prevent them from respawning. So skeletons can, if there's a necromancer nearby, will get back up if you kill them. Also the Watchtower basement key. This is how, if you didn't have the master key, you would fight Havel. And this also opens up a shortcut into Undeadburg. So we're not going to use the Homeward Bone because we're going to pick up the Elite Knight set before getting out of here. So put whatever shield you're using back on. If you've been lucky enough to get the Black Knight, great. If you haven't, that's okay too. The Grass Crest is still an excellent shield. If you've gotten a Balder shield, by all means use that. And then we're going to kind of sprint on here. This is a bit risky because 13,000 souls certainly feels like a lot. But this is not a terribly hard item run. And again, we're just zooming in, getting something and running, essentially. So, hang an immediate left out of Moonlight Butterfly, and you're going to see 2 of these plants and 2 of these statues. Just get the gear and run. You can, if you're feeling lucky, fight it out, I guess. But get the gear and run, and then run. Eventually, you'll get a wide enough range where I'm pretty sure the stone statues will have lost aggro by now, and the plants will also. But for sure, rest, and then you definitely reset the enemies at that point. And then I am going to spend my souls. I'm really gunning after that. That Black Knight sword. So that's it. That's Darker Garden. When we come back for the Seal of Artorias and whatnot, there's a... There's a fun kind of covenant you can join. We'll open up that garden and enter Alvina's Covenant. I don't think that's the actual name. It's Guardians of the Forest or something along those lines. And essentially, there's a spirit of the cat like defending the forest or something. And anytime other players enter the forest, you can get summoned into the world as a phantom and PvP with them for a bit. And if you do it enough times, I think if you win 3... she gives you this ring, and it's the Fog Ring or the Ring of Fog, something along those lines, and it significantly reduces the aggro range of your characters, so how far away you can be before an enemy decides that it wants to fight you. But right now, we have a dearth of souls. I'm going to run back to Andre, and we're going to level our Claymore up to +5. before we head into Darkroot Basin, which is the next episode. So I'm going to go ahead and make this kind of a short one, along with the item run, and we're going to go ahead and make it quick. So what's coming up next is just transactional stuff. I'll speed up time so you can see what's going on, but I don't need to have commentary over the whole thing. So this is Fiasco saying, hope you had learned something, hope you had a good time, and as always, remember to praise the sun.